How many times do you hear stories which indicate core frustrations and problems between the boss and his employees' relationships? If you closely look at any organization's functionality through the curtains, you will always find the boss being frustrated with his subordinates. But the question remains, why? As Ellie Broad has rightly said, the inability to delegate is one of the biggest problems I see with managers at all levels. Yes, a subordinate can indeed be blamed to some extent for his non-productivity. However, if we look at this with a fish eye lens, then the actual culprit is the leader and his inability to delegate the work. A leader is responsible for understanding the potential of his employees and delegating work accordingly. But if he fails to fulfill the bare necessity, how can he qualify as a good leader? If you have read the book called Ardhasastra by Chanakya, your approach towards life and handling things overall would drastically change. In this book, he talks about delegation in a very unique manner. In conformity with the appearance, he should give exercise to the gentle and the dull, and the animal with mixed characteristics in various types of work or accordance with the season by Chanakya. Breaking down the meaning for you, Chanakya says that one should identify the potential and capabilities of a candidate according to their nature and sometimes even seasons. These factors play a great role in determining their score, quality, and pace of work. If you are still confused, let's break this down for you easily. Delegation is the process of assigning a particular work to a specific person from a higher authority to complete the task in the best way possible. Normally, larger organizations have huge workloads to take care of, and hence they need to delegate this work to employees, which helps them meet the desired results and the target within the stipulated period of time. Delegation might look simple, but it takes a lot of planning, structuring, and strategizing to execute a smooth and effective delegation procedure. Choosing the right person for the job is always a tough nut to crack. After all, one mistake today can result in varieties of problems in the future. A bitter relationship with your employees just becomes an addition to the list. Easier said than done, now pops the question, how do I delegate? While we all understand that a boss needs to understand his employees and assign work based on their potential and capabilities, skill sets, he needs to know how to assess them. Before we look into the how factor, we need to understand the why factor. Why does the delegation of authority fail? Nobody can do everything on their own. When you are working as a team and when the team is clear in their minds of their duties, that is when the outcome is fruitful. According to Anthea Turner, the first rule of management is delegation. Don't try and do everything yourself because you can't. Delegation is both an art and a science. We need to blend our creative mind perfectly with our logical one to formulate the perfect plan for execution. When we delegate perfectly, we are developing and growing our team as a whole. When we don't delegate properly, we are creating some massive dangers for our organization. Lastly, when we don't delegate at all, that's a doomsday. Having said that, let's have a look at the 3 prominent mistakes one makes during the delegation process. Number 1, the perfectionist, the one who does not delegate at all. Yes, you read that right. There is one segment of people who do not like to delegate work at all. They feel that others don't have the skill or are not worthy of completing a particular task and land up doing everything themselves. What happens next is no surprise. Failure, failure, and failure. By doing this, neither party benefits. The subordinates are not learning anything as they are not being given a chance to. On the contrary, the leader is overloaded with work and hence fails to perform. Either way, this is not less than an apocalyptic situation. Number 2, the confused one. I am confused, you are confused. If the authority who is delegating the work to you is not clear about the instructions, how can you expect the employee to be clear? Confusion always leads to confusion. So, if the boss himself is doubtful about the details of the project, its planning and implementations, then it becomes very difficult to delegate work to their subordinates. Number 3, the voice and choice play, the one who doesn't believe in freedom. You have planned everything out well, right from strategizing, planning, and implementing the project plan to delegating it to your subordinates. However, even if after an excellent execution of the plan, your delegation failed, what went wrong? If you're not giving your employees the voice to put forth their point and ideas and a choice to do things their way, you're not doing it right. It is very important for you to let go and have faith in your subordinates to come back with the best results. Guide them but never suppress them. This is the secret to a healthy and perfect delegation plan. According to Jessica Jackley, deciding what not to do is as important as deciding what to do. Now that we have understood the main reasons for the failure of the delegation of authority, let's look at the exact method to follow so you can delegate work efficiently and effectively. Step 1. Evaluate, evaluate, evaluate. This is the first step to effectively carry out all the decision making and planning activities. And this is where many bosses fail. A well-written resume might impress everyone during an interview, but there are a lot of other factors that can determine and help you understand a candidate and his potential. If the candidate seems promising, his answers and opinions during the interview will let you know the same. However, there is a huge difference between promises and real-time delivery of work. Before passing any kinds of judgment on anyone, always give yourself time. This is exactly why the training period in any organization lasts for 3 months. Always observe and study the person in detail to understand his potential. Watch them closely and you are sure to crack their core strengths, weaknesses, nature, and potential as an employee. Step 2. Situational analysis. A classic example to explain this would be Lata Mangeshkar and Sachin Tendulkar. If you ask Sachin Tendulkar to sing, will he be able to do a good job? Likewise, will Lata Mangeshkar be able to face a ball coming towards her at lightning speed to score a century for the country? The answer obviously remains no. It is as simple as it sounds and absolutely no rocket science. A person who excels in one area might not succeed in another situation. Yes, the situation matters. Even the most successful salesman could not be able to sell his products in a particular situation. It's all about the perspective. We need to understand that the potential of a person differs from time to time and situation to situation. At no point can one person handle 2 different situations with one singular approach. We always need fresh minds at work. These are little factors that will define their productivity. As a leader, it is your job to identify these traits and get the right guy for the job. Step 3. The time factor. Have you ever noticed that some students prefer to study during the day while others prefer the night? This is exactly what the time factor is about. A person's output will change during different points of time. Chanakya refers to these as seasons. So the best way to increase the productivity of your subordinates is to identify their season. Yes, this is your secret mantra for a successful delegation process. All successful leaders and businessmen know their way out through well-planned and fruit-bearing delegation. So, if you wish to master the art of delegation too, start incorporating the tips given in this lesson and see the results unfold in front of you.